the age of social media, all it takes nowadays to spark up an online fight is to merely have an opinion. One opinion will cause many to spiral into a pit hole of anger where no one dialogues, only insults the person who has the unpopular or even the popular opinion regarding the latest trends in comic books, movies, or pulp culture. It makes sense given the circumstance. After all, acting tough behind the protective wall of the black mirror we all own and use on a daily basis makes it easy for anyone to jump right into a tirade of insults and threats. Again, just for having an opinion that they may disagree with. I decided to go against that notion. I've decided to start a video series where we discuss the hot topic issues within the comic book industry and pulp culture and provide you with another perspective. One of logic, reason, with just plain old dialogue between two people who have different opinions. My co-host and I will discuss the pulp culture topics at hand in a fun, engaging, and respectable manner. So, without further ado, let's talk about it. Hello again and welcome back to another edition of Let's Talk About It. I'm your host, Julius Freeman, and with me, as always, the one and only
Kyle.
All right. I tried to come up with something, but I couldn't come up with anything this week. Kyle, dude, it's been a while.
I know.
Here last week. We weren't here last week because I had family over. They were visiting, so I didn't want to be rude and lock myself in the room live streaming while they're here visiting. So I canceled the show that way I could spend time with the family. But we're back, better than ever, 2.0, 3.0, whatever.
Whatever.
Kyle, how has your week been? What have you picked up? Please enlighten us.
Enlighten you. All right. So in the beginning, this week was pretty cool. I got a bunch of stuff in, especially CGC books.
Ooh,
because I was finally got all my books in that I had sent off from WonderCon, which was
so it was a while. Yeah,
it was about like a couple months ago, I think. But I am very happy for what came back, and I think we should just jump right into it. So remember how I let's see, when was it? I forgot when, but there was those blind bag things that we had we had gotten from them and I opened it up on the live stream here, where it was from Bry's Comics. He had some comic where special variant covers and stuff like that. Well, one of those, well, technically two of them, but one of the covers was drawn by the artist David Mack, and it was the Ultimate Wolverine issue.
Yes.
And he was at WonderCon like the week after that I got those books. And I'm like, hey, I'm probably one of the first ones that would be able to go and see him with these books because, this is his first appearance at a convention since the guy sent them out. Right. So I'm like, I'm going to take a chance and see if, anybody's actually like sent him, or maybe, he went and signed something else. But I went up, I told this story. I went up to him and he says, oh yeah, this is the first time I'm seeing them. Oh yeah. Well, you want me to sign them? And then you want me to put like first signed or something like that? And I'm like, yeah, that'd be great. And so got both of those back. The first one, which is the one that was just the regular copy, limited to 1,500. Came back 9.
Wow, 9.8. Nice, dude.
Sorry, it's a little reflective.
Yeah, I know. You got the glare and reflection going on right now.
But what's even better is that they actually put first signed on the label.
Nice, dude. Very nice.
But yeah, so that got a 9.8.
Ultimate Wolverine #1, drawn by David Mack. Special coverage, and they were not available in retailers. So you got a one of a kind, truly. So kudos.
And then this one is even rarer because this one was the one where there's only 26 copies of this book in existence. And it also got the 9.8 first signed
Nice, dude.
by David Mack sketch
Awesome.
cover.
Good on you. Good on you.
So
Those are good. Good to have.
those were pretty cool. Then the next one that I got, which was by Sean Gordon Murphy. I really got to know him from the Batman White Knight series that he did, and then he also
Right.
did Plot Holes. And there was an issue of the Batman Curse of the White Knight where there was a big old black square like on half of the book, and
Mhm.
Batman was like hanging off the ledge on the other one. And I'm like, this would be great for like him to do a sketch of something on that side. So I went up to him and I said, "Can you do a sketch of Joker on the side?" He's like, "Yeah, I could do that." So it's kind of hard to see again with the glare, but
Yeah, that's a
also
good. Well,
9.8.
I can see. I can barely see. I can barely see right there. Yeah, but
I know.
yeah,
So it's
I
like I'm
got it.
trying to get so there's Joker face right there with ha 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 written all around it. I would have preferred if him use like a white marker so that it would show up a little bit better. But hey, it's still
Do they
pretty
even make
cool.
white markers?
Yeah, they have white markers.
Oh, I would consider them white out. But whatever. Go on.
And then the last one, which was my sketch cover that I had gotten done by a artist. His name was Carl Attalister. I am sorry if I mispronounce your name, but the prompt that I asked at him was, "What if a Green Lantern had gotten, or what if a Mandalorian had gotten a Green Lantern ring?" And this is what he came up with.
Very cool.
Sketch
Very
cover,
cool.
also 9.8. They all came back 9.8s.
Yeah, man, that's great. Is there a such thing as a 10?
Oh yeah, there's a thing
Yeah,
that's
okay.
10.
I never seen 10. I always see 9.8, 9.7, 9.6, and so on, but never a 10.
Yeah, there's 9.9s, and then there is 10s out there, but they're pretty hard to get. So,
Yeah, I bet they are. Wow, that's
but
good. Those are cool, dude. You got those nice and framed up, and you're never gonna open them ever again. Yay!
yeah, yeah.
But no, but to be fair,
Well,
I'm just joking. I know you got yourself a reader copy, so you have a reader copy in your box, I imagine.
but yeah, but like for some of them, like the sketch cover, you don't
Hmm.
really need to open that one up because it's just for the sketch. And the other ones, they're cool because they're all sketch artists and stuff. And the other ones were this limited. This one, that's why I think this is the only one. Obviously, this is going to be the only one in existence where it's first signed
Yeah, for
out of
sure. So
25,
at least you got
9.8.
bragging rights. You got bragging rights for that. So that's
Yeah,
good on you on that one.
this is going to be the only copy in existence that's a first signed one. So
Crenshaw says same with women. 10s are hard to get. That's for
yeah,
that's a damn sure, Crenshaw. That's a damn sure.
well, let's say that those that are actually 10s, not believed to themselves to
Yeah,
be.
yeah. Yeah, you're right. There's a difference between those two for sure. Those two groups. But hey, you told me earlier today you were telling me at work that you're going to go to the Ontario Comic Con tomorrow.
Yes.
So
So I'm
any
gonna.
plans? Any plans of what you want to do when you get there, or do you just gonna go and just kind of check it out and just kind of have a good time? What's the plan for tomorrow?
The plan for tomorrow, Comic Con or Comic Revolution Ontario, is I'm gonna get another sketch cover done. I'm not gonna say what it is because I don't want to spoil it,
Ah, okay,
but
cool, cool.
it's gonna be really cool. Hopefully, I can find a good artist to do it. And then I have my books here. Mark Bagley, he's going to be there,
Oh,
and
nice,
so
cool.
I'm planning on getting both signed and sketches on both of these. First Carnage. So
Oh,
this is his
nice,
first
dude.
cover appearance, and then this in the panel on the last page is the Venom or is the Carnage symbiote, and then this is when it gets attached to him.
Ah,
And
nice,
so
dude.
I'm gonna have Mark Bagley sign and sketch Venom or not Venom, Carnage
That's
on
cool,
them.
dude. Wow.
So
Is
That
there going to be a
that's
line for that, or do you have to
Oh,
pay
I'm
for it?
sure.
Yeah. Well,
I'm
yeah.
sure there's gonna
That's
be
a
a
stupid
line.
question. That's a stupid question. Is he going to charge for a signature? I guess is what I'm asking. Do you know if he is,
Oh
or are you
yeah.
going to?
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. He's gonna. There's no free. Well, there is a few that is still free, but
There are a few, but they're
they're
rare. They're like
few and far
unicorns.
between.
Yeah, for sure.
Then I have these two, which were drawn by Ron Lim, and I'm gonna either get them signed or sketched on. I was hoping to get like both of them, like this one have Green Lantern on it, and this one have Silver Surfer on it, and then kind of make like a connecting thing, kind of fun,
Oh
cool thing.
yeah,
I don't know,
yeah.
something along those lines. We'll see what it's like there. Jay Lee is gonna be there, and I have a Sentry versus the Void.
Oh, dude, you have that issue? Wow.
Yeah.
I'm sure that issue spiked up big time.
Oh, yeah. This isn't his first appearance, but I think this might be one of the first times that both of them are on the cover.
Yeah, I think the first appearance was the first issue, right? First issue
Yeah.
of Century? Yeah.
Right. So this one is, I think this is the first one he's like on the cover. I think I'm not entirely sure, but it's still
That's
a cool cover.
Dude. That's cool.
And then Marv Wolfman's gonna be there as well, and so I'm thinking about getting some of my Crisis on Infinite Earths.
Very nice. Signed by Mr. Wolfman himself.
Signed by Marv Wolfman. So that's the tentative plan. We'll see how it goes and what we can accomplish.
Now, I saw there the cover of Superman, and we're going to discuss the trailer of Superman. I'm not going to play it because DC, Warner Brothers, Warner Media, whatever they're called now, they're coming down hard on people on YouTube who are sharing the trailer, which is stupid in my opinion, because it's free advertising. Even if the people who are hating on the trailer are just spewing venomous hate on the trailer because they don't like James Gunn or they're Zack Snyder fans, for me it's like you're getting free publicity here. Like just let us have it. It's a trailer. It's not the movie. So damn, I just don't understand it. But I'm not gonna play the trailer, even the background, because I actually I don't know if I told you this, Kyle, but they struck the channel.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I remember when I was playing the background with no sound and we were talking over it. They struck it anyway.
Wow,
it's ridiculous at this point.
Well, they got to make their money somehow. So
they're already gonna make their money. It's Superman. They're gonna make their money. Like I don't understand why you just can't have people let the fans have some fun. I know there's haters out there, but I'm not a hater. I'm a Superman guy. I'm pro Superman all the way.
Well, us with our high production budget value,
exactly,
and the amount of traffic that we bring to this channel.
Why would you want to leave that on the off table? That's just dumb business. But whatever, we know more than they, right, Kyle?
Yeah.
But anyways, this past Wednesday, I was really hyped for one particular comic book project, which was Battle Beast. Right? Battle Beast. Now,
Invincible
Robert Kirkman,
universe
Ryan Notley, came back together. It was a huge deal. I was really excited about it. And then I forgot about the bags, the mystery bags, as I call them. And I was thinking, you know what? I told Kyle, we on our lunch, we're gonna go to that shop and we're gonna get. And then he has a connection with the one of the employees there, so he texted them and then he told me, oh, they're sold out. I was like, what? They're not even open yet.
Yeah.
And turns out
they ordered 250 copies of the blind bags, and they sold out before they even opened.
Yeah, so apparently our shop, they let you do that. I remember back in the day, they didn't let you do that. Back in the day, you would call and say, can you hold it for me? And they'd be like, sorry, we don't do that. You have to come in. So I guess the new ownership decided to do away with that and just decided, you know what? Yeah, if you call in before, we'll hold it for you and then sell it to you. I guess, it's his business. He could do whatever he wants. But for me, it's, I'm a little bit more old school. I like to be able to get there first, get it, pay for it, and then, bounce and read it in the parking lot. But, oh, well. I can't have the good old things back in the day.
Back in my day.
Back in my day. However, They still had a few copies. I got myself a copy, cover A. I have not read it
Yes.
yet, but I'm looking forward to it because it does look pretty rad. Yeah, there you go. It's after Corey Walker. But Kyle here, like
Yeah.
always, is able to get it. He got himself a mystery bag.
Blind bag.
There it is, blind bag. Sorry, I'll use blind bag going forward.
Because it's blind.
And he's gonna grace us with opening it here on the show right now, live.
Gracing you with the presence. Now, I made a bet with Julius that like I was sitting here when we were waiting to come on, I was kind of feeling it up and see like what it was because
Yeah.
I guess apparently, all right. So what you can get inside this blind bag is you can get all the different covers. So cover A, so potentially you can get another copy of cover A. And
can I just say something real quick about that? That's
okay,
total crap. Total crap. Total crap. I can't believe that they put cover A in these bags. These bags, whenever this gimmick occurs, because it's not new, publishers have done it for a long time.
Yeah.
But when you do a gimmick like this, you got to make it worth the while. Now, I understand you told me in the green room that the price point is still the same. Okay, fine. Yeah. However, that defeats the purpose, in my opinion. You still gotta give a little bit of extra when it comes to this kind of thing, because why put in cover A in that bag?
It's the thrill of potentially getting it.
Yeah, but
then they wouldn't sell enough of the regular copies, you know.
But see, now you might open your copy and have it be cover A again.
Well, yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I was feeling it up, and I thought that it felt like it's gonna be cover A because one of the things that you can get is like, yeah, all the covers, and then there's other versions of the like reprints of other Battle Beast books from like they have the Invincible,
right?
Like when he first the reprint of when he first appeared, a reprint of his first cover appearance, and then another that was like just an Invincible and Spider-Man team up. But all of those are all foil covers. And this one feels a lot rougher, like the cardstock that the cover A is. But, we'll see. Maybe because there's an opportunity that you can get like the blank cover as well. And that would be a rough one.
That would be a plus. Yeah, that would be a good thing. But to have cover A, I mean, that's going to be hilarious, honestly.
Well, we'll see. We'll see.
Ben says, nice, Kyle. At least Ben's giving you the props, to get. Okay, so I wish I had a soundboard so I could play some music, but I don't have, so I'm going to just blow you up here and let you reveal exactly what you got in this thing.
Here we go. Opening it up. Seeing what we got. And the moment of truth. It looks like it's upside down. All right, here we go. Ready? And cover A.
No.
There it is.
Oh no.
Yay, I got my second copy that I could have gotten anywhere else.
Oh, dude. Oh my gosh. Oh man.
So I could have kept it sealed. I probably sold it for like $30. Or
oh, dude. You know what? As much as I respect Robert Kirkman's game in his business of selling comics, shame on you, Mr. Kirkman. Shame on you for putting cover A in these mystery bags, because it defeats the purpose of the whole, the fun behind it. It would have been cool to have you get we were talking about this earlier, how mystery bags should be something special. Now, it would have been cool if he just said, oh yeah, you know what, the mystery bags are going to have something special for you guys, but I'm not going to say what it is because they're going to be books that are not available rarely at the shops.
Right.
Then you'll have the excitement, right? And it would have been even cooler if he got Alex Ross to draw a cover of a Battle Beast in those mystery bags. Like maybe only 500 he printed, and then 500 of those would have gone out, and 500 lucky contestants, would have received a copy of a rare Alex Ross Battle Beast cover.
Well, I mean, technically there is something like that because one of the ones that you could get is it's like a 1 in 2,000, and it's an original sketch by Ryan Otley.
Yeah, and that's cool. It should have
Yeah.
stayed like that. Is my point.
Right.
That's my point. I mean, yeah, it's great that they did this gimmick. It got people, excited. People went to the shops to get it. It reminded me of the old days when you had to go to the shop when it opened to get your copy because you knew if you missed out, you're not gonna have your copy. So that was the good thing about it. But the fact that you got cover A still was, again,
Yep.
shame on you, Mr. Kirkman, for even considering that. I would have, if I were Robert Kirkman, I would be like, no, don't do that. Let's keep it special for the mystery bags, because remember, you're paying extra for the bags.
Well,
you know what I mean? You're paying extra to produce the bags, right? And then put them and then seal them up, and hire whoever you have to hire to manufacture it for you. So that's costing you a little extra. So yeah, you should make it a little special. I would say, I would think so.
I mean, like, I see what you're saying, and yeah, I would say probably that would have been better. I think, I think I would say the compromise would be, have all the covers just without cover A. You could still have all the other covers, but just cover A, because that one, that's a little bit. At least if you got, you know that cover A is not going to be in there. So because I bought cover A already on the side, I could have gotten.
And they had some left too. It wasn't like it was like the last two. They had quite a few left over.
They had a lot left, and they had another cover that I also kind of wanted. But I'm like, well, I definitely want cover A no matter what. So it's
I really wanted that die cut cover. I really did.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the one I wanted. Freddie says, true story. Julius once asked a comic book store to hold a book for him, and they told him he has to be there to purchase it. When he got there, he saw that they held a lot of books for other people. Then the thief went to the store and robbed them. And when they told Julius to stop him, he held the door for the robber and said, "How you hold something?" Later that day, the robber killed Julius's uncle. Oh gosh, yeah, and then he became known as
Spider,
as the Cockroach Man.
The Cockroach Man.
Crenshaw says the way Julius laughed at that makes me think he laughed when his siblings got in trouble as a kid. Yes, Crenshaw, you're not wrong there. That's exactly how I laughed when my younger brother, who was a little shit from time to time.
Wow, not mincing words there at all.
Well, because let's be real, my little brother, I love my little brother to death now, but back when we were growing up, he was sometimes, man, he knew how to push my buttons, that little bastard. So yeah, I would laugh like that when he got in trouble, because he would get into a lot of trouble when we were growing up. So Crenshaw's not off there.
But yeah, so now I got 2 cover A's.
Well, at least you could sell one.
Well, yeah, but I also could have sold just a blind bag by itself.
Well, what you could do now is you can CGC that second one, and then now you can sell it and make yourself a nice little buck. Yeah,
I mean, when let's see, there's another convention coming up at the end of the month when I'm going to be going to Dallas at Dallas Fan Expo.
Right,
Ryan Otley is going to be there.
There you go. There you go. Now's your chance. To get one of them signed, and you have a reader copy, which is nice.
Yep. So there you go. We'll just do that then.
Yeah, and for the record, to whoever listens to this high value show that we have here, when you do something like this, make it special. It's not much to ask for. I mean, me, you, and everyone else who goes to who regularly buys comic books, we wouldn't mind paying the extra $1 or $2 if it's truly it's going to be one of a kind special. Which is right. When you bought that guy's packet, that was special. Yeah. That was he went out of his way to make sure that he got the commission. He contacted Marvel to make sure they printed them. He got the exact number, a low number, but now it's a rare one of a kind. So the how much did you pay for that packet?
I think there were 65, and so you got 3 books
Okay.
in the packet. But but even so, even the one that is the common one
Yeah.
is still limited to 1500,
Exactly.
And then in the book, he says you're always going to get you said the one that you can get, like, that's the least amount of like cool stuff in it would be like the two regular ones, but you'll also get one that's like of 1,000. So you'll
There you
always get
go.
one better one and 2 regular ones at the minimum. And then
And yeah, and now if you choose to sell those 9.8s, you just tripled your money at this point.
Oh yeah, dude! I
So
saw another one of the 1 in 25 versions. I think it was the Doctor Doom one on eBay, and it was selling raw for like $300.
what?
Yeah, I know,
Seriously?
right? Yeah.
Whoa, 300. Well, there you go. There you have it. There you have it.
So, yeah.
Yeah. So to all publishers out there, big and small, you do a gimmick, that's great. We're willing to pay the extra dollar or two for it, but just make it special. That's it. Don't put your cover A's in them. That's just a waste of time. It's a waste of time.
What are you talking about? At least cover A is cool. It's not like it's a
no. Don't get me wrong. It is cool. I mean, I got it because I got it because the other covers ran out at the shop, so I had no choice but to get that one. But I was gonna get the book regardless because hey, I mean, Robert Kirkman and Ryan Otley working together again, so why not? I'm not gonna miss out on that.
but yeah,
I was hoping for you, man. I was like, come on, something special. But
once I started feeling it, before we started, I'm like, I'm like, yeah.
You still had that glimmer of hope, huh? That glimmer of hope.
It's very, very small. But hey, if I ever come across any blind bags, I know that I can feel it and see if it's a foil cover and know whether or not to get it.
There you go. Well, if you run across any of them, because they're hard to get now.
Yeah. Well, we'll see about that's at a reasonable price.
Yeah, for sure. So, moving on from that, Superman trailer dropped this week.
That is true.
Now, for those who are new to the show, I'm Team Superman. Everyone else is Batman and so on, but no, me, Superman all the way. And I had a friend send me a DM the other day asking me, hey, you gonna give James Gunn, a chance with the Superman movie? And I was like, I'm not giving James Gunn a chance on anything. I'm watching a Superman movie because I always watch a Superman movie because I'm a Superman fan. And I'm not alone. There's a lot of people out there who don't care who directed whatever. They just care it's a Superman movie, so they're going to watch it. Just like Spider-Man, just like, Batman. The Batman people, the Spider-Man people, they don't care who directs what, as long as they get to see Spider-Man or Batman or Superman in this instance on the big screen. And I'm one of them. So it could have been some B-list director directing it. I wouldn't have cared. I'm still going to watch it because it's Superman. I was just concerned of the trailer. I had been burned out by Zack Snyder. Superman, he was a bit too dark for me, even though I still enjoyed Man of Steel. It wasn't entirely the Superman that I wanted, and I'm not one to crap on stuff because that's just not my style. Because Man of Steel is still competent, in my opinion. I think it's probably Zack Snyder's second best movie next to 300. Yeah. And that's because that's because, in my opinion, again, I'm speculating here. Since, oh gosh, why am I? Christopher Nolan was the producer of that movie. So I think Christopher Nolan kind of reeled him in a bit in that movie. And kind of told him, hey, keep it grounded, which was a mistake. I'll admit, as much as I love Christopher Nolan's work and as a director and an artist, he was wrong in trying to keep Superman grounded. Like, no, dude, Superman should never be grounded. Superman should be larger than life. Have him fly, have him fight the monsters. Yes, give me all of that.
Yeah.
But grounded, thinking about should I defend people. No, I don't want that Superman. I want Superman's going to do it, and he doesn't care if people want help or not. And I liked the fact that in the beginning of the trailer of James Gunn's Superman, I'm not going to play it because I don't want the channel to get struck because Warner Media are a bunch of a-holes. I love that was when I saw the line of like, okay, you stop, you're getting a lot of flack because you got involved in the war between two countries, and he said I stopped the war, and they have this, him and Lois have this back and forth. That moment I was like, oh, I'm in, I'm all about it. And of course, as the trailer went on, we got to see clips of him in action, flying, saving people, fantastic, fighting big monsters in the city.
Yes.
Beautiful.
Robots.
Yeah. Luthor, him going against Luthor. We got to see who I thought was Mercy, but it wasn't Mercy. It was the engineer from the Authority.
Yeah.
Which was still cool. I mean, don't get me wrong. That was a cool shot of her seeing her hand like change to the buzzsaw. And like fighting off the robots. That was cool. By the end of it, I was like, all right, I'm in. He convinced me because the teaser was like, okay, this is pretty cool, but it's the teaser. I don't it's not giving me a lot. And then when he released the clip of him going back to the Fortress of Solitude, and the robots were helping him by giving him the sunlight, he's screaming in pain. I was like, okay, that's actually kind of cool too. I kind of like that. But still,
even though most people didn't.
Most people hate, mainly the Zack Snyder fans didn't like it.
Yeah.
So I was like, cool, I could dig this. But then when the trailer came out, that's what finally convinced me to, okay, I'm definitely gonna watch this. I'm not excited for it yet. I'm just more of I guess convinced to go and watch it now.
Okay.
But what'd you think of the trailer?
I definitely think it made me want to go and watch it more, because way more than Fantastic Four.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
I think that actually seeing Superman go and be Superman helped a lot in my because again, I had big problems, with the first thing that we saw of him was, in the fetal position,
Right.
And so actually seeing him fly around and beat up the monsters and stuff like that, I'm like, okay, cool, get behind that.
Yeah.
And then also seeing Green Lantern, Guy Gardner with the giant green hands.
Oh yeah, swapping people away. Yeah.
Yeah, that was cool.
I like that. Yeah.
It's funny because I saw somebody online. They said that they were complaining that that's not how Green Lanterns work. And it's
because supposedly it's supposed to be connected to the ring, right?
Well, that's that's somebody who hasn't really read Green Lantern would say, because anybody that would
excuse me, Kyle.
Anybody actually reads Green Lantern, it's not like they make constructs and stuff all the time that doesn't have to be connected to the ring. And in fact, it's actually supposed to be like that's them being proficient in using the ring, is that it doesn't have the line that goes to the ring. But it's just funny seeing people make those connections that aren't even a thing.
Yeah, that's what I noticed when the trailer dropped. Is you have a lot of loud people talking about, well, that's not accurate. That's not this, and it's like, I wish I had a big bullhorn that could reach all the people who are hating and just hear me and say, who cares? This is an interpretation of an artist who's holding the reins currently to interpret it the way he sees fit. It's no different than any other medium, comics, TV shows, movies, whatever the case. Currently, for instance, Andor, right now, everyone's loving Andor from what I've seen. I mean, I could be wrong. The numbers, the optics could be off because, my timeline is full of people who actually love Andor. But again, that's Tony Gilroy, who's not a Star Wars fan, didn't like the movies, when he was growing up, didn't care for them, but he's a good director, a great writer, and he accepted the job and he delivered something that I think a lot of Star Wars fans are digging. and that's a
Yeah.
good thing in my opinion. I'm not gonna watch it because I'm kind of over Star Wars already at this point.
Yeah.
But but my point being that whenever anyone has the opportunity to interpret a popular property like Superman, it's kind of like, well, let them have it. That's why when Zack Snyder got the reins, I didn't like it personally because I knew it wasn't going to be as good
Yeah.
because Zack Snyder's not a good storyteller. He's a good director. He's a good visual director. But when it comes to storyteller, no way. No
What are
way.
you talking about? His stuff's amazing.
No, but however, I did respect the fact that, you know what? He got the job. He got it for a reason. So I want to see what he does with it. And quite frankly, I liked it. I had my problems with Man of Steel, but I still, by the end of the day, that first like third of the movie was like, okay, it's kind of slow. He's kind of brooding, not really digging it.
Yeah. Well, the
However,
first 20 minutes also was them still on Krypton.
yeah. Oh gosh, dude, that was. I remember I was in the theater going like, why are we still here? Why are we still on Krypton? What's going on? What's happening?
It's like get it going. Come on.
Yeah. But however, I will say I did like the fact that the journey of his discovery. I like that. I dug that.
Okay.
And then Lois was right behind him, trailing him, and then it picked up when Zod came into the picture, and then we had the fight, and when the day was saved, when they took him back to the Forbidden Zone, Phantom Zone, excuse me. Shame on me.
Mister, I'm a big Superman fan. I love Superman.
Oh, dude. Oh, I gotta be careful because it might start calling me a tourist.
Yeah.
Much love to Tony, by the way. That's not a knock on Tony. I was like, okay, cool. I guess we got this, but I was kind of hoping for more. And then when we got the fight with Zod, that's when I was like, all right, finally, we got something here. So I dug it. Like I said, I had my problems with it. Batman v Superman, that was like, whoa, what happened here?
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to Gunn. I'm really hoping that it's gonna be a good showing for his ability to be James Gunn has proven himself to be a good action director, but he also knows how to pick the right dramatic moments to make you connect with the characters more. Yeah. So I'm waiting for that because Guardians of the Galaxy, when I first saw it, I had no idea who James Gunn was at that point. But as I watched the movie, I enjoyed it, and at the end, after all was said and done, I really it really did hit me. It struck a chord when he put on that cassette in the end. Remember he's sitting by himself and he puts on the cassette and he's listening to the music and he's tearing up. Mm-hmm. I was like, oh, that was perfect, pitch perfect with that scene. So I expect that for Superman come July.
I think so too. I think James Gunn does know how to pull the heartstrings, and so seeing Superman as the hopeful person that everybody's going to be wanting to save them and stuff like that. I think we're definitely gonna get that, and I think in terms of the story, it's gonna be like he's definitely gonna be a lot more frustrated with the world because he's trying to help, and everybody's trying to stop him from just helping, which is something that is very Superman. He feels like he has to help everybody, but the world keeps on throwing things at him to stop him.
Yeah. Freddie asked, have you guys seen a Snyder Cut script was released? It was awful, which makes me excited for this movie coming out. I have not read his script. I'm not going to read it because I know Zack Snyder's not a good writer to begin with.
Hang on. Well, Rebel Moon did so well, so he must be a terrific writer and
you had no idea
creator.
Who was. Sorry, I guess you never followed his Twitter since day one. Thought the ups and no, I never. At that point, I didn't know who he was until after the fact. Even then, I still didn't really pay close attention to what he's been up to, but what he did, what he posted on Twitter. But apparently, he posted some questionable things from what I remember. Sorry, Kyle, I totally disrupted you.
I know it's went right into like
I'm
a whole
sorry. I'm
different
sorry.
thing.
I'm sorry. Go on.
I was talking about Rebel Moon and how amazing stuff that he did with that.
Yeah. So I understand. I saw the amount of hate that the Zack Snyder fans were just spewing on the trailer. And there's one poster, I forget his name. I should have saved it, but I didn't. He was right on the money about it being similar to Man of Steel and also Batman v Superman, which is totally fair because it is.
Yeah.
And that reminded me of like, oh, that's funny because, I know that Zack Snyder and James Gunn, I don't know if they're close friends now, but they started off together. I think James Gunn played a producer. He was a producer for the remake of Dawn of the Dead. And Dawn of the Dead was directed by Zack Snyder. That was his breakthrough movie. That's what pretty much brought Zack Snyder to the forefront of Hollywood. He was able to remake this old zombie movie from the 70s and bring it to the modern audience, and it did well. It did actually very well in the box office. And critics alike also revered the movie. And so they started out together. And of course, they split off. He went on to, Zack Snyder went on to do 300. And I think James Gunn wrote a few screenplays that got produced. And then eventually he got the gig at Marvel for Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah, and then that blew up.
Yeah, so they're kind of aligned in terms of like what how they perceive the superhero. However, the difference between James Gunn and Zack Snyder is that Zack Snyder is unable to execute the ideas that he had in his head. Because I saw the idea in Batman v Superman. It was there, but the execution was not there. It was off. And that's why it didn't work.
Way off.
Yeah, exactly. And so when he went on to do Justice League, of course, that was a big dumpster fire. And when the Snyder fans got together and pushed for the Snyder cut, I mean, I wasn't for it, but I was curious to see, like, wow, I can't believe they're actually going to succeed in convincing the studio to give this guy more money to finish his movie. Like, what, 2 or 3 years after the fact?
I think so, yeah.
So it was, I have to say, I have to give it to the Snyder fans for them pulling together and like going to bat for their boy. So props to you guys on that.
Bullying the studio into doing it.
No, I don't think they bullied the studio. It was more like I think the studio saw the optics and well, if we do this, we might get our money back.
Yeah.
But we got to see firsthand just how badly Zack Snyder is as a storyteller, how bad he is as a storyteller, because he was giving the free reins to finish his movie the way he wanted, and that still wasn't enough. I watched it.
It was better.
It was better, but it was nothing special. Like when you watch the Avengers, that was special.
Yeah. When
you got to see Captain America interact with Iron Man and the Hulk and so on and so forth, right? But when you got to Justice League, it wasn't special. It was kind of like, oh, it's just a movie.
Yeah, it
was a long movie. It didn't feel big either. And so, we got to see how that turned out. And then Netflix threw a bunch of money at him to do original movies, and now there was no excuse. But those were duds too.
Yeah,
and I'm a believer of your fruit showing your true colors. And so, your actions are what really tell you, they really expose you to people outside of you. So I could say one thing, but if I do another, that exposes me as a hypocrite or a liar. And I feel and I believe that's the same thing for art as well. So if you're a writer or an artist or a filmmaker or whatever, and you produce stuff and you have the marketing behind you, you're pushing yourself to get your book out there, and people do read it, and then your next book comes out, your next project comes out, and there's less people there, that indicates that maybe you don't have it. That makes sense. You may have some fans who like it, but you want to grow with every project that you come out with, not shrink. Shrinking, shrinking audience is an indicator of how well versed you are as an artist.
Yeah.
Not well versed, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
It's
Well,
an
shrinking's just
indicator.
not good in general.
Yeah, it's an
Wink,
indicator
wink.
of how you are as an artist. And as much as I'm sure Zack Snyder is a great dude, sure he's a great human being. He might be cool to have a few drinks with and talk shop. But as a storyteller, he's not very good. He isn't. And that's objectively
So,
speaking, by the way.
uh,
But those are my 2 cents. I just wanted to say that because at the end of the day, the Snyder fans are going to see that the majority of people who don't go online, they don't listen to the haters, they just kind of live their lives and just wait for the release of the movie. They're going to show up. They're going to show up with their families. Yeah. They're going to show up with their friends, and they're going to have a good time because this looks like a fun movie, and I think that's what it's going to be. It's going to be a fun movie.
Well, and I think that's what everybody's kind of missing. I think that's like, because Superman's one where it's like, and I think just families can go and enjoy it.
Yeah.
And I think that's one of the main things that's sort of like missing is like, I know a lot of because you can have like the whole family come and watch it and enjoy it because you'll have older people that like, oh well, Superman. I know Superman. Superman movies are always good.
Exactly.
I'll just go watch Superman, and it's like, the kids, they'll like it because it's Superman. It's just superheroes and stuff like that, and us, the nerds and stuff like that, we're gonna like it because look at that comic book reference. Oh, look at that comic book reference.
And that's another thing too that's going to help the movie is that James Gunn is a fan of comics.
Yeah,
like he grew up reading comic books, so he was the perfect guy to take the reins of the DCEU. And I am really looking forward to seeing the launching pads that are going to come from this movie because a lot of characters are going to be introduced. Yeah. And now it's going to come to the forefront of a lot of people, a lot of the movie going audiences, like, eyes like, oh, wow, look at this cool character. Look at this other cool character. Mm-hmm. And now when they introduce the TV shows, the other movies, they're going to go and watch those movies now and watch those shows. So here's looking to a good Superman.
I know. I'm looking forward to it. So
yeah, that's all I wanted to say about the Superman trailer. I think it's safe to say that the Zack Snyder fans should just relax a little bit. And if you really do support your guy, then hey, go watch Rebel Moon. Watch Rebel Moon and support him, dude. But from what I hear, it's not doing well.
Yeah, it's a little rough.
That's what I heard. Yeah, I have not seen those movies, but from the people who have seen them and they've told me about it, they told me there was something there, but it wasn't executed well. And what did I just say?
It almost, from what I've seen, it sounds like, and from what I've read, it almost feels like if you put into an AI prompt generator, make a Star Wars movie without Star Wars.
Oh, ouch. Damn, like that, huh?
It seems like it's like close enough to Star Wars that it's almost Star Wars, but not quite there.
Oh gosh, that's bad. That's bad. Okay, well, that's all I had to say about the Superman trailer. Did you have any last thoughts before we move on?
I'm looking forward to Guy Gardner. Like I said, he's gonna be cool, and I need to get the first appearance in comic book form before the movie comes out because it's gonna spike up.
Yeah, for sure. All right. Well, I wanted to share this real quick before we move on because I thought it was funny. And the video is called Zack Snyder fans reacting to the Superman trailer. It's a 30-second clip video. I'm sorry, not 30 seconds, 51 seconds. I thought this was spot on, and I just want to share with you guys because I thought it was really funny.
All right, guys, the Discord's been begging me to react to this. I'm just going to lock in, focus, and do it. We can get through this, guys. All right, deep breaths. Let's do this. Oh, what is this? Some kind of knockoff Marvel bullshit? I'm gonna watch the rest, guys. What? Who? How? When? Why? What? Who? When? Why? How?
Oh my god. I don't know if I can do this, guys. I don't fucking know if I can get through this.
All right, guys. I'm gonna lock in. I'm gonna finish this. We got this. All right.
Are you being
Dude, an establishing shot. How cliche can you be? Yeah, no, it looks good. Yeah, I'm excited about that. Visually, it looks bad, but yeah, it looks good. Superman, more like super idiot.
For those of you who want to follow this guy, I follow him on
All right, guys, the Discord's
on YouTube. I subscribe to his channel because I think he's really good. His name is the channel is called Man Carrying Thing. That's the name of the YouTube channel. Man Carrying Thing. Yeah.
All right.
That's the name of his YouTube channel. But he does really good 40-second, 50-second, videos, and they're just like compacted of just comedy gold. So subscribe to his channel if you haven't already. He does good stuff. But yeah, Kyle, that's pretty much the end of the segment for what we wanted to talk about, because there really wasn't much to talk about, honestly, this week.
No, not particularly. We are discussing things, but I mean, besides Superman, that was just the biggest thing that happened in the world of comic books. And then Ironheart, that came out, and then like,
oh right, Ironheart the trailer came out for that. Don't care. Honestly, don't care.
Yeah. Nobody cares.
Yeah, that's what it looks like. Do Snyder fans like the Donner movies? I know that was a spoof, but still, that's a good question, actually. They'd be curious to know if they do like the Richard Donner Superman movies. Curious. I'm curious.
I heard that the Superman and Lois TV shows. I know there was a bunch of comparisons of them, like with the CW shows, but
right.
The Superman and Lois TV show was pretty good.
Which one? The one that just recently came out, not the Lois and Clark one?
No, the one that's the Superman and Lois, the one that just finished.
Oh, okay. Oh, right. Yeah, I actually did hear good things about that show. I heard that the series finale was like really good.
Yeah, that's what I heard. Because I think it was Doomsday, so they saved that for the end, which is good.
And
cool.
And then he had like three sons, something like that with Lois.
2 sons, I think.
2 sons with Lois. Yeah, and I saw the clips of that, and I was like, hey, it's pretty good. Wow, the Doomsday in the show looks better than the Batman v Superman.
Yeah,
Doomsday.
Actually looked like Doomsday.
Yeah. Oh, goodness gracious. Well, with that said, Kyle, it's time for another edition of Is It Worth the Pickup with Kyle? Is it worth the pickup with Kyle? Here's your host, Kyle.
Wow.
Well, real quick, before I hand it over to Kyle, hold on. Before I hand it over to Kyle, for those who are new to the show, this is the segment where Kyle reviews a comic book he read this past week, or whichever time, and he shares his thoughts here. And in the end of it, he lets you know whether or not you want to pick up the issue, because comic books are pretty pricey nowadays. $5, sometimes $6 to pick up a 22 to a 32-page comic book today in 2025. So we want to make sure that you get your money's worth. And if it's worth it, then go to your shop and get it. But if it's not worth to pick up, hold off on it, saving those $5 for something that's a little bit better for your buck. So a bang for your buck.
Better for your bang for the buck.
Yeah, bang. Blah, 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 blah. So Kyle, the floor is yours.
All right, let's gather around the campfire and sing our campfire song. All right. Our book that we are reviewing this week is Batman Hush 2 issue number 2. This is written by our ever, enthusiastic Jeff Loeb, who is very loved and beloved by Julius. And
let's be fair. I don't hate Jeff Loeb. I just think he's an overrated writer. That's it.
Yeah, I don't hate Jeff Loeb. I just don't care for his writing, his dialogue, his thing. And he's, whatever. But I don't hate him, And then, of course, art by Jim Lee, CEO of DC Comics, who is back to drawing books again because they need the sale numbers to be back up.
Oh, a little spicy, aren't we?
Yeah. So, Hush 2, issue number 2, picks up where we left off. If you haven't reviewed or haven't read issue number 1, you can watch our review on it in a previous episode. But basically, the story is that Hush has come back, kidnapped the Joker, and tortured him, cut him up, and left Batman with a choice on whether or not he saved the Joker and, not violate his no-kill policy, but then in doing so would actually save the Joker, or let him die, and therefore also not breaking his no-kill rule because it was technically Hush that killed him. So we pick up where we left off, where Batman ends up choosing to save saving the Joker, and taking him to.
Thank you, Justin. I couldn't have said it better myself.
Yeah, taking him to the one person that helped him throughout the years, which is Dr. Leslie Tompkins. And now, was this character, Leslie Tompkins, I know she's also in the Batman animated series. Was she in comic books beforehand? Like, was she always a comic book character, or was she just sort of like this recent addition?
I don't know. The chat, if you guys know, please enlighten us on that. I honestly do not know. I do remember the character from the animated series, but I don't know if it was one of those Harley Quinn situations where it was created from the show.
I know that's the crazy thing about Harley Quinn. It's like everybody just always associates Joker and Harley Quinn together for so long. They like almost like rewrite memories that like she showed up like way back when Joker first was introduced in like the 40s, but it's like,
right,
no, she only showed up because of the TV show, and that's it, and
the TV show definitely popularized the character, and then they implemented her in the comics, and now she's been popular ever since. I mean, it was a great character. I mean, honestly, Paul Dini, the creator of the character, I mean, kudos to him for saying, hey, why don't we just create like a psychic for Joker, a woman who's just as crazy as he is? And it worked.
But so he goes and takes the Joker to Leslie Tompkins, and this is one of the panels. So that last panel there with Batman holding Joker, like Joker is unconscious right now, or at least somewhat unconscious. He's still like barely breathing, but yet Leslie goes and says, well, Bruce, get him inside, while he's wearing the mask and cowl and everything. So it's like, and then literally in the text says, few people know my secrets, even fewer speak to me as she does. It's like, well, maybe don't do that while you're holding your nemesis in your arms that could potentially hear and know your identity. Now, I'm not saying that I always, I don't know, I kind of under the assumption that Joker kind of knows who Batman is under the mask, but like chooses not to know because he likes the fun of it more.
Oh, you think so, huh?
I know, like my personal thing is I always believe that the Riddler knows for sure that Bruce Wayne is Batman, but doesn't want to say it because then he can't hold hold it over everybody and say like, I know who Batman is, but I'm not going to tell you because that ruins the fun of it too.
Unhinged says Joker knows who he is, he just doesn't care. It could be fair. I mean, look, you're not alone in that sentiment, Kyle.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, I always kind of assumed that, but it could go either way too, where like he doesn't know and is trying to actively find out.
Yeah, the thing about the Joker, I think that should remain a mystery. I don't think they should ever explore that because it will take away the allure of the rivalry between the two.
Yeah. But anyway, they bring him into the operating room, and this is where we get the splash page with him all cut up, and then we get the text with all of the credits page and everything. It's just there's a lot of time spent with the Joker in this issue, in this series that like we still haven't even seen Hush really at all in the Hush
Right.
2 series. So that's something also and Batman really hasn't done much of anything either, as we'll also see in this issue. Like he really doesn't do very much in these first few issues.
Dude, can I just say that Joker must have a gym membership somewhere because dang, dude.
Yeah, he's cut, man.
He's like ripped, dude.
Going and I guess poisoning the Gotham's water supply. Lifting those barrels. It's like a workout for him.
Yeah,
You
jeez.
think though he'd just have his henchmen do it for him, but I guess
Maybe that's
fighting
why
with Batman.
maybe that's why he can keep up with Batman when he fights him.
I guess so. So basically, yeah, this section here, they're just talking about what problems he has with his like the cuts and the damage and stuff like that. Batman's having this internal monologue of saying, like, did I make a mistake coming here? Should I have done this? And I'm like, yeah, probably. I'd say you because Batman, he has so many different like avenues that he can go to and stuff like this. He has to bring Joker to her, which he knows is somebody that he cares about. And Joker is such a wild, loose cannon, and he knows for a fact anybody that's associated with him on like a personal level is like a major target for the Joker. So you're giving him another target to get at. So that's a little bit of a stupid Batman thing. Anyway, he administers to him some knockout not a knockout, but sedative or something like that.
Right.
And yeah, she goes and patches Joker up, but he needs to be under constant surveillance and like IVs and hooked up and life support type of thing until he, recovers. But Batman's just saying like he saved his life exactly as Hush planned it. So it's like, so what's the point of all this then? I'm not understanding why we're going through all this rigmarole just to end up back where we're at, gonna start with.
I'm sure there's gonna be a reason. You might just have to keep reading to find that, to have that kind of reveal itself as you keep on reading the issues.
Yeah, I guess we'll see.
Well, I mean, you have to, because it's okay. As much as I may not like Jeff Loeb, okay, as a writer,
yeah,
I know he at least will plan out the story. So all the questions you're having right now, I would imagine they're going to be answered later on in the issues that are coming. So let's hope for that.
All right. Well, in any event, he has to take the Joker back to the Batcave for observation because that's the only place in Gotham that has the best equipment, which again does not make sense to me at all, because we know for a fact that Batman has other safe houses and warehouses and stuff throughout the city.
Yeah.
He could have just taken him to one of those, not the Batcave, where he's like his secret lair. So that was also another stupid thing that I didn't care for. Again, it's just more monologuing. He's going over, the Joker has no fingerprints, and that he has chemical burns and stuff like that, which like he knows all this. He's the one that like you guys, he's been fighting the Joker for decades now, and they acknowledge. So it's like he knows all this. So why is he going through like go back up? No, go back up. Yeah, these 3 panels, like this whole page, like where he's looking at all of them and stuff like that. It's like that's all wasted stuff because we already know all this. Batman already knows Joker doesn't have fingerprints and that his skin is burned with acid because that's how it happened.
Mm.
So it's like, why are we going through all this again? And then we'll continue that trend as we read on because Batman gets a gun to his back of his head, and there's somebody that's talking in the background saying, I know all your tricks and stuff like that. I know you would always keep one door open, but he's like, I'm not here for you. I'm here for him. And so he points the gun at Joker, misses because of Batman's fast reflexes because he's so cool. And then we get into the fight between him and the mysterious assailant. Batman already is making guesses on who this person is, based off the way that he fights. And he says, but I need to make sure. So let me go and grab this gun and shoot the guy. Which,
whoa, Batman using a gun.
Why is Batman using a gun? Batman never uses a gun, and
because Jeff Loeb is such an edgy writer. He's so like, it's just so amazing how he could think of these things.
Well,
I'm being sarcastic, by the way.
Well, yeah. I mean, some people, that's actually like the way that they talk.
Yeah.
But what I don't understand, okay, we find out that it's Jason Todd, the Red Hood, which, it's like, okay, so we're treading down that water, river again. But
yeah, right here. Here's the panel.
The whole point was he grabbed the gun to shoot him so that Batman could know for sure that it's not Clayface impersonating, Robin.
Right.
Or
Jason.
Or Jason. Jason. So you're confirming. So your way to confirm it is to shoot the guy that you don't want to shoot if you end up being right, which in this case is because it is Jason under the Red Hood, which we already knew from previously. Seeing the theme here of like retreading old stuff over and over and over again. So yeah, Jason Todd, he's back. He says, he says, I know about Clayface impersonating me, like what happened in the first Hush series. So what's the point? Why was this whole fight thing happening to begin with? And then they go and they hash it out, saying like, oh, you're still keeping Joker alive, I see, because he's the one that hit me with a crowbar, left me for dead, and, I died and come back and stuff like that. It's like, okay, so we're just retreading under the Red Hood again. So it just seems like there really isn't anything new that has come from this series so far. It's just all retreading of things that happen. Even like the panel shots, like, okay, so keep on going down. So that first panel of the 3 that's on the bottom there, that's
the famous face of the death
of Jason Todd.
Right.
So it's like, yeah, they're literally homaging it in the actual story. And then cuts to, I guess, him knocking Batman out. And then it cuts to Nightwing and Barbara talking about, where's Batman? Why is he in the Batcave with Joker? And then the Riddler makes his grand appearance in his brand new outfit, which, yay, another Riddler outfit that's, okay. I mean, it's cool. It's just like he's very Scottish looking now with the mutton chops.
Mutton chops, really?
Yeah, I think that's mutton chops on his
Oh yeah, dude, I didn't even notice that the first time around.
Yeah. So it's like, yeah, so Riddler's Scottish now. So that's cool. Again, I mean, I don't know what the point is.
Oh,
Again.
and a tattoo over his eye.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And also, I guess he's in the same workout routine as Joker.
And he's jacked too. That's
I was
right.
gonna say,
Unhinged. That's
yeah,
right.
I guess they. So I what? So then I guess all of the Batman villains, when they're not like terrorizing Gotham, they all go to the same gym, and then they're all gym bros.
Hey
And
man,
then
Gold.
all-
Hey dude, Gold's gyms in Gotham is banging right now.
yeah, I guess Bane is the one that's like who they're all trying to. That's the Arnold Schwarzenegger of like the universe. They're like, we gotta be like him. And then so Batman wakes up from being knocked out and finds Joker gone and Robin, the Red Hood, gone as well. So again, treading exactly like we did with Under the Red Hood, where he takes Joker because he wants revenge because Batman can't kill Joker himself. And so somebody also pointed out to me too that like, does Jim Lee and Jeff Loeb not know about continuity about modern books? Because like apparently, this Hush 2 is still in the same continuity as the previous issues of Batman that's been coming out. And somebody mentioned that in just like 10 or so issues before this, Red Hood and Batman are on like good terms. They're like best friends again. And then all of a sudden, they're back to being, on the outskirts with one another.
Yeah, it's safe to say that they didn't read it. They didn't care. They're gonna do what they're gonna do, and
it seems like they were just, wanting to just make a sequel to Hush 2, and whatever came in between was like whatever.
Yeah, I think this was a rush. Not a rush job, but a rush to like, numbers are low. We got to get them back. And so let's just Loeb and Jubilee again. Batman Hush Part 2. Let's do it. I think that's what it is. I think it's safe to say that they didn't care about the continuity regarding the series.
Now, that's my thoughts. I'll give my final opinion, but at the weigh-in. But you also read this issue.
I did.
What was your takeaways from reading it from the editorial and experienced, grayed out wisdom that you have?
Man, Jim Lee's artwork is always superb. Like that was the biggest take when I read the issue. I was like, man, Jim Lee still can hit it, man. He can hit all cylinders if he wants. He never misses a beat for me.
Yes,
as I was looking at
that.
Yeah, when I was looking at the page, I was like, man, he still can get it. He still can hit all targets, and I could still look at his art for hours, just studying his position. The way he draws the camera angles, the paneling. Like for instance, this right here. This sequence here, I wish you would do more of this stuff here, the watercolor stuff.
Oh yeah,
like this. I wouldn't mind having the whole Jim Lee book with just not a Batman book, but just of this style, because I think it would do really well.
It's different than what he has done before.
Yeah, and his background work is always on point too. Like there's nothing he leaves nothing blank.
Oh yeah. No, it's all very detailed.
Very detailed. So I got to give him props for that, because that's like, it's hard to do. A lot of artists hate drawing backgrounds because, it's time consuming. It's not really, they got a deadline. But with Jim Lee, I mean, kudos to him again. He just always delivers when it comes to art. Saying that, the story, yeah, I agree with you, Kyle. It wasn't the strongest, story at all. I found myself not caring about the stakes. Okay, Joker's in the Batcave. So
right,
it should be a bigger deal than that, but it's not. It just kind of he just kind of goes there with him, and starts helping him out and helping him heal, but it didn't feel nothing. There's no suspense. There's none of that. Maybe if the Joker had woken up
That's what I was
for a
gonna say.
second.
Like, I think either have Joker wake up, or the sedative say that he's gonna be knocked out for a total of 24 hours, or maybe
Okay.
like
Right.
10 hours or something like that. He's only gonna be knocked out for 10 hours, but yet he needs at least 30 hours to recover. So at least then you'll have a time clock of like, okay, well, I can stash him in the Batcave for the 10 hours for him, but then I'm gonna have to move him again somewhere else,
Right.
and keep him on the move so that he doesn't know, where he is, and then have him wake up and then like, figure out stuff as he's going along. So
Unhinged says, I think it's more detailed than usual because of the 11x17 editions. Yeah, totally Unhinged. And that's a good thing. I think more artists should draw at that level, especially if you do, like, if you're Jim Lee and you still draw traditional and you use the 11x17 Bristol paper to draw your books. Yeah, but overall, man, this story again was nothing. I really didn't feel. I didn't really care. There's nothing left me with suspense. Nothing left me wanting to know what's going to happen next. I read Absolute Batman, the previous issue, and that got me excited. That got me to want to actually keep reading it.
Yeah,
which was the total opposite of this. I just wish Jim Lee, because Jim Lee is at this point in his career is a special attraction, and they should keep him as a special attraction, because this kind of art style is not really, it's not everywhere. Guess it's not not every other artist draws like Jim Lee, so it's a special. It should be a special occasion whenever someone like a Jim Lee draws something like Batman. Like, for instance, a couple years ago, Mark Silvestri drew a Batman book, and that was perfect because he's also a special attraction at this point in his career, and the fact that he got to draw a Batman book was great, and it was a great looking book too. I highly recommend you guys check that out if you haven't already. But as for this, I wish if I were in that meeting at DC and they were kind of brainstorming how to get people back in the shops, instead of a Batman Hush Part 2, I would have pitched the idea of, like, why not bring back Wildcats and integrate them in the DC universe?
Yeah.
That would sell like hotcakes.
That would definitely sell a lot of copies.
Yeah, I agree. And I know Wildcats had its problems back in the day when it was being produced, but with I don't want to say a better writer, but with a different writer, dude, tap Mark Millar. Hey, Mark, are you available? Can you write 6 issues of one storyline, and I'll draw Wildcats and you write the 6 issues for me? Yeah. And then that'll give me the time to find another writer who can, take over for you and keep the series going with a different artist. And now we can integrate the Wildcats characters with the DC universe.
That would have been amazing.
That would be a lot better for me. That would have got me more hyped. But instead we got Hush 2, and it was, at this point, it was like, well, Hush 1 was unique because that was the first time he ever drew Batman. So it was a big deal. This time around, oh, okay, we saw it already.
Yeah, and I think that's the theme of this. It's like, but I think that should be the title of this series: Batman Hush 2. We saw it already.
Damn. I was thinking that would have been something for sure. And also, from what I hear, the first Hush storyline wasn't the greatest either, from what I heard.
I mean, it was good.
It was okay from what I heard.
It was good, but like again, I mean, I read the trade paperback when I didn't read it when it first came out,
Hmm.
but like I instantly knew that Hush was gonna be the Thomas Elliot friend character that was introduced in like the first issue, and
Oh,
it's like,
really? Oh
yeah,
gosh.
because like, I mean, it's kind of obvious. It's like, oh, I have my best friend that has never been mentioned before ever in any comic book ever, and he's my best friend and only shows up in this one time, and he's on the same build as the as Hush character, and
I see.
well, I wonder who Hush is. I don't know.
However, like to be fair, the sequentials are on point. I didn't have any problem with the sequentials at all. A lot of the writing was, he probably could have cut down a lot of the writing. But the overall story, it was meh for me. It was like whatever. It
Yeah,
did its job. It moved the story forward, and now we got to the end, and now we're gonna wait for the next one. But it didn't leave me excited. It didn't leave me wanting to know more. It didn't surprise me. It didn't do anything. So it just is.
I know, and that's the thing. It's like I'll see what issue 3 has, but like I feel like you could probably just skip this issue. Really, nothing happens in it of significance besides Batman, taking Joker and healing him, and then Red Hood taking him to who knows where. But you could.
Yeah. And
That's
also
it.
Riddler. Let's not forget the appearance of Riddler.
Okay, he shows up, but he's also gonna show up in the next one too. So it's like, or assumingly, so like, all right, and what? It just doesn't seem like anything happens of significance in this book.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I agree for sure. So, I
So,
mean, saying that, what's your final verdict? Is Batman issue 159 Hush Part 2, is it worth the pickup?
I'm gonna say no.
No.
Honestly,
Oh, damn. Okay, I
I'm gonna
wasn't
say
expecting that.
honestly, it's not worth the pickup. Like, literally, you could just, it's the same stories as what we've read before. So it's like, what's the point of rehashing all of it? I mean, like,
Okay.
yeah, yeah, Jim Lee art is great. So I guess you can pick it up from that aspect. But that's it. I wouldn't go out and buy like multiple copies of this because it's something that like I don't think. I mean, maybe in like 10 years down the line, it'll probably somebody will want it, but I don't know. It's just too familiar from what we've already got
Ah,
that it doesn't seem like it's gonna be worth it in the end. I don't know. I could be wrong, but
yeah. I mean, that's true too. But when you have someone like me agreeing with you, for the most part, I think it's safe to say that this is like a nothing issue, essentially.
and it's so frustrating because you have Jim Lee working on the book.
Yeah, I know.
It's like I want to be excited to
Yeah,
read the series, but you're not giving me anything to get excited about.
agreed.
So
Agreed.
it's just frustrating.
All right,
So
well,
unfortunately, yeah, not worth the pickup.
there you have it, folks. Batman Hush 2 issue 159 is not worth the pickup. But yeah, you know what, man? Honestly, I agree with you. It really isn't. I wouldn't pay $5 for this. As much as I do love Jim Lee's artwork, and I do revere his hard work, considering that how old is he now? He's in his 50s, isn't he?
I think he's late 50s, early 60s.
Really? Okay, I didn't know. Damn, I didn't know he was that old.
No, maybe not that. Maybe 50s. Let me see.
Well, whatever the case, it's still impressive that he's able to draw at this level and deliver a
Yeah,
monthly
he's
book.
60.
He's 60. Unbelievable. And he's still drawing like this. So, again, he's a special attraction at this point. 60 years old is not. That's
I mean,
like you're close to retirement age at 60. You're
Well,
like
yeah.
5 years. You're like 5 years away from it officially, But the fact that he's able to draw at this level, it's still amazing. So
Well, and we talked about earlier today about Rob Liefeld. Rob Liefeld's 57,
okay,
and he you mentioned to me that he did a signing, and he talked about the signing and going to
yeah,
conventions and stuff like that. He's like, I'm feeling it. I'm
yeah,
feeling, my back hurts, my legs hurt, my
yeah.
knees hurt, my hand hurts. So it's like, they're getting up there. They're not really doing as much as they can.
And dude,
But yet
he's
he
still
still
drawing like a
can though.
he's still drawing like a young man. Unbelievable. Now
So,
I have a more appreciation. I'm gonna take my little comments back. If you're gonna buy this book, just for the fact that Jim Lee at 60 years old can draw like this.
yeah.
So wow,
I mean,
amazing.
yeah, look at Frank Miller's art at 60 versus Jim Lee's art at 60.
Well, to be fair, Frank Miller had his fair share of abuse problems with
Yeah.
recreational
Variety.
materials. So that's he's excused from that. But Jim Lee still drawing like this.
I mean, that splash page there, that double page spread, yeah, it's still really good. I really think that that's an amazing, art. It is, his work is still really good. I'm not.
Yeah, but I
discounting
agree with
that.
you though. It's in terms of story, because a comic book is not just all about the art. That's a large part of it, but you got to have the whole experience in order to really appreciate what you have. So unfortunately, the writer of this series isn't hitting all cylinders like Jim Lee is.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's it. It's not worth the pickup. And that's that, folks.
That's all, folks.
And that's all, folks. All right. So yeah, there you have it, guys. That's pretty much the show for tonight. So thank you again for joining us. For those who are new, welcome. For those who join us every time we go on the live, thank you for coming back.
Yeah.
And enjoying our show, and really it really does help knowing the fact that people come back and watch the show, because again, we want to create this culture of like, we love comic books, but it's okay to critique them from time to time because we pay money for them. $5 a book ain't nothing to sneeze at, so
it adds up fast.
Yeah, it adds up real fast. And a lot of the times,
especially if you're buying a blind bag for cover.
Exactly. Exactly right. And so again, thank you for coming back week after week or whenever we go live to join us. And we always try to find the variety in terms of topics, and also having guests on. Next week we are going to have a guest. We are going to talk about the objective and versus subjective. We're going to elaborate further on it. He commented on the show that we had with Tony and Tyler, because apparently that kind of blew up on Twitter a bit, and I thought he had the best perspective on the subjective and objective argument regarding art. And I invited him on the show because I wanted him to elaborate on it on the show, and then we can have a nice long discussion about it, and hopefully we can gain some insight as to the importance of objective versus subjective.
Yeah,
because I'm a writer myself, so I always have to keep that in mind whenever I create new material, because again, who am I writing for? Am I writing for myself, or am I writing for the audience? It should be a little bit of both, because that's the hard part for me is following the rules of storytelling, right? Like panel 1, panel 2, that kind of thing. And also wondering, like, am I doing too much for myself, or am I doing too much for the reader? Where's the balance between the two? And hopefully we could discuss that and elaborate on that when our guest is on next week. So hopefully he doesn't cancel or doesn't reschedule. Hopefully he's with us next week, because I'm looking forward to that show. I always look forward to our guests because it makes the show a little bit more interesting.
Oh yeah, People just love talking, hearing us talk all the time.
Yeah, yeah. 'Cause we have a high quality show, Kyle.
We
that's
have
why.
such a high production budget show, and because of that, we need you to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel because we're gonna need to get that money somehow.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
make sure to tell your friends about us because everybody's got friends. Hopefully,
Yeah.
I know you don't, but
and we also like to have a healthy discussion about things we don't like or things we do like, and actually have constructive viewpoints as to
Yeah.
why things work and why things don't work, like we did just now with the Batman issue. As much as something personal against Jeff Loeb, it's just that I tried giving him a shot after shot after shot. I read Long Halloween. I kind of dug Long Halloween a little bit.
I still love Long Halloween.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But when I read his other stuff, it's like, oh, what? How is this even possible that you wrote something pretty good with this, but not with this? And so it kind of led to me realizing he sometimes can hit it, sometimes not. But again, that's just me. I know he has his fan base just like everyone else. So it's nothing personal against the man. It's just not my cup of tea.
Yeah. Well, that's your opinion. Or
Yeah.
maybe it's maybe that's like your opinion, man.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Kyle, last words before we call it a night.
Oh, just remember every experience is
Freddie. We're getting there, Freddie. Hold on.
every interaction and every show is a new experience. And remember what I always say is to build those experiences and read more comics.
There you go. Always well said. With that said, guys, have a great weekend. Stay safe out there. We'll see you in the next one. Peace.
Bye, guys.
On November 27th, 1997, citizens from a small Midwestern town called Carpenter's Bay were shocked to discover that one of their own brutally massacred his family, as well as ending his own life on Thanksgiving Day. Dubbed the Thanksgiving Day Massacre, this horrendous crime would forever tarnish the good name of this peaceful town. However, underneath this story lies a dark secret. A secret involving a government cover-up to hide the real story of what happened that fateful day. As the old saying goes, truth is stranger than fiction. Asset 13, The Last Thanksgiving, written by Julius Freeman, art by Greg Warrenchak, available on Global Comics. Evil has a new holiday.